Your room is very echoey. All right. Let's go. All right, guys. Welcome to the Dynamo AMA. This is a question and answer session about everything Dynamocoin. I'm Joe Flocari, and I'm joined with Sean Neal. Sean is the creator of Dynamocoin. He is a Wall Street veteran, former technology executive at Merrill Lynch, and former chief technology officer for a credit card company, and is now in the world of cryptocurrency. We also have with us Keith Carpentier, owner of QBuster Technology and the co-founder of Dynamocoin. Hey guys, you ready for this? Getting a lot of questions on the Discord and Reddit.
It's a great day, Joe. We are ready.
All right, let's start with the biggest news right now. Today's current price of Dynamocoin is around $7.06. We started a month ago. It launched at about 10 cents. So it's up pretty high. And Sean, I know you have some big news today about Dynamocoin.
Yeah, so just after 5 weeks from launch, we have got our first listing, which I think is just incredible news. I'm not sure of any other coins out there that have done this, but because of our reputation, because of our commitment to technology excellence, and hopefully our open and friendly community, we were able to strike a deal with an exchange, and we will be live. We'll be making the formal announcement at 5:30 Eastern. So we don't want to have anybody rushing in until we're ready, but we've done a bunch of testing from last night and into this morning, and everything is working well. So we're looking forward to creating real world liquidity for the main net coin. So I want to just celebrate that, as I said, with a little champagne pop.
What? I'm in the wrong room. I'm in the wrong room.
I hope everybody else on Discord.
There we go.
Oh, and I knew that was going to happen.
Very nice. Should have full screen for that.
Yeah.
Congrats, Dynamocoin. First exchange today, many more tomorrow.
So here's to everyone who made it happen, which includes our wonderful community. I want to thank everybody. Thank you very much.
All the diners out there, this one's for you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. So we are there we go. So we're on
Atlanta's finest.
And this is the dawn of a new era for us. I think it's going to be huge. So yeah.
So Dynamocoin launched about a month ago. It was at 10 cents. You're already at $7.06 today. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh boy, I think it was again the fundamentals of the project, right? That there was no pump and dump, no hype, no Lambo to the moon, none of that garbage, right? We were founded on good technology that has real use cases, backed by actual people who have done technology for a long time. It's just all those fundamental things, I think, that create a feeling of safety, right? That we're actually going to be able to execute on what we're promising that we're doing, and that we're going to be here for a while, and that we're going to build a great ecosystem of real business case solutions.
And keep in mind, Joe, the reality is, it's had that kind of climb against a really challenging backdrop in the crypto space. And more than that, it did it in a very limited environment, right? The accessibility to it was pretty restricted. Getting on this first exchange, and again, can't wait to see that first announcement come over the wire. But that's huge, because that's going to open up access to Dynamocoin to a much bigger user base and population and investor community, which we're looking forward to. And keep in mind that this is the first, and we're talking to many, So again, while the champagne is duly deserved today, there's a lot more of it on ice, as they say, for tomorrow.
Definitely. Oh, did we lose Joe?
That's a beautiful chart, Joe.
I think we lost Joe.
No, I think he's going to get some champagne too.
Oh no, I'm in the background. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I
and also
screen shut off.
That's okay. That's okay. One other thing too, Joe. I mean, I think it's a real testament to Sean and the development team to come out with a coin at 10 cents and have it ascend to $7 plus in such a short period of time. When
also, it's such a tricky time too, with everything going on.
Exactly. And I think one of the key differentiators when you talk about price as an indicator of value is, no, it wasn't priced at, 1/1,000,000th of a cent. It was intentionally priced, the way that it was to convey authenticity, value, validity. And I think that's also part of the reason why it continued, to go up all the way to 7 and change today.
Mm-hmm. I'm putting up the, see if I can put the chat up on the side. No, it didn't work, but I can get the questions around below. Everybody's just excited to see us so far in the Diners Club. We already got people on the chat. So Sean, let's go into, let me go over to the website and let's just go wind back a little bit and talk about Dynamo. What made you decide to create your own cryptocurrency?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I know that was one of the questions was always the genesis of this. So I last November got very heavily involved in mining Ethereum, invested a large sum of money in mining equipment and rented a couple of warehouses. And it went pretty well for a while. Obviously rode the wave from 400 or 450 up to 4,000, now even 1,800, which is completely fine, frankly. It's still marginally profitable to mine Ethereum, but they have this new thing coming out, EIP 1559, which is going to restrict the miner's income. And then, of course, they're moving to proof of stake, which will eliminate mining income. And so I started to look around at alternatives. I started to look at getting involved with the Ethereum development group, and then getting involved with the alternative currency development groups. And found that, all of those ecosystems were just not very inviting. That, mostly they were just controlled by the founders or a set of companies, and the individual developers with new ideas were not really welcome. So at that point, I said, I'll just make my own. So that was really
just that easy.
Yeah,
Most of the world gets stressed out hearing cryptocurrency, and you're like, I'm going to create my own blockchain.
Yeah, it was a little more challenging than I thought, and there were several days where I said to my wife, "This is probably the most difficult programming I've ever done in my life." Just trying to get up to speed, but after a couple months of development, we were able to put something out. So, yeah, and I'm happy with the performance so far. Things have really worked out well. It's been stable. We've done a lot of intricate enhancements to it that haven't broken so far. So yeah, feeling pretty good about it.
I'll pull up. Keith, do you have anything to add? I'm gonna pull up the website a little bit and let's talk about the white paper. It's always very important. A lot of people want to understand what the project's about. And I don't know if you could just go over that a little bit, some details about it.
Yeah, so at the core, driven by my frustration of being unable to contribute to other projects, at the very core is this concept of consensus government and community development. So all of the things that come off of that, all of the features of it are rooted in that principle that anyone can contribute, and not just anyone can contribute by saying, oh yeah, you can fork it and make your own, but that you can actually be a part of this community. So the idea is to create a welcoming, open community that anyone can contribute to, and contribute to in a meaningful way, not just like add on third-party stuff, but actually add to the core, change consensus, as long as everybody else agrees. And so I've built in things like voting mechanisms, and the whole idea of the foundation which is bound to act based on the will of the holders. Those kinds of things create a very unique ecosystem and governance that doesn't exist anywhere else, and is really making it be a one vote, one voice kind of chain.
Yeah, but Sean, I think that's something that a lot of people out there don't necessarily understand, and several of the podcasts that we've done previously kind of underline that the reality is we all talk about decentralized, and there's all these cryptocurrencies that all exist kind of under that umbrella, and there's a bit of a misnomer that they are fully decentralized. And I think you had the insight to look into that, to peer into that and say, you all say that you're, ambassadors of decentralization, but at your core, you're really not. You're very centralized. So you saw the opportunity to really walk the walk on this one and fashion Dynamocoin in a way such that the community really can be involved, and it really is decentralized and not just power concentrated in the hands of the few founders or organizers of the coin, investors of the coin.
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly it.
And Sean, you having your background in coding, and then you got into crypto. What were your surprises about the crypto community that people didn't see from the outside? I know you saw that it's not as decentralized as you initially thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a number of drivers around that. I think one of the things that I was very disturbed by, I would say almost, is the level of toxicity in a lot of the communities. That they say that they're one big community, and everybody's friendly, but there's so much. I don't know. There's a lot of I'm not going to say hatred necessarily, but there's a lot of negative emotion going on in a lot of communities, and so that's one of the other things that I wanted to avoid, at least in our communities. I don't know if other communities spring up around ours that are different, but setting the tone right from the start that this is about building something fun, building something useful, and being professional and being nice to each other. I think that was one of the things that really surprised me when I really got in to start meeting all the people who were involved in these projects. Was just
a lot of projects, they do start out decentralized and they kind of change over time. What are you going to try to do to keep the community, decentralized?
Well, we're gonna implement on-chain voting. So the holders of the coin will get to control the agenda of the development. Full stop. That if somebody wants to make a proposal to do this kind of thing on the coin, and it passes a vote of the majority of the coin holders at that time, then that thing passes. It gets funded, and the foundation actually does that thing. So it is a true democracy.
Just looking over the website a little bit. And talk about some of the features of Dynamocoin. I know we're going to be getting into NFTs soon. I guess kind of go over your how the NFTs are different than other NFTs.
Mm-hmm. So the NFTs on Dynamo, which we're going to be implementing very shortly, all the coding is done. We're just in testing now. The NFTs on Dynamo are stored on chain. So when you think about what was the Beeple, right? That was actually a file that was uploaded to IPFS, which is a distributed file system. That's assigned a hash, and then somebody takes that hash and mines that hash into the Ethereum blockchain, and they create a smart contract that someone can then take ownership of that hash. So really what somebody bought for $69 million was a hash. They don't actually take ownership of even the actual file. They have a link to the file, which may or may not even exist today. I don't know, because IPFS doesn't guarantee storage. But they've just basically had a hash. And that's how almost all the ones that I'm aware of exist in terms of NFTs. It's just a hash. My implementation actually guarantees the storage of the file that you are selling as the NFT, be that a video file, an audio file, an image file, a 3D graphic, a receipt, a coupon, an accounts payable message to an ERP system, whatever that NFT is, it's actually stored and mined into the chain. So it's a fundamental difference of how we're storing our NFTs from any other chain that I'm aware of.
And how do we? What's the price difference? A lot of places, NFTs are about $75 to mint an NFT. What's going to be the price differential? I know it's going to be changing depending on the price of Dynamo, but
yeah, it's really just the transaction fee per byte. So Bitcoin at its core charges a fee based on the number of bytes that you have loaded into the chain. And so if you have a 10 megabyte file, you're going to pay whatever the current, quote unquote gas fee is at that time. Those things are market based. So when miners decide what transactions to take, they're going to prioritize transactions that have a higher fee over ones that have a lower fee. And so if you want it mined really quickly, you offer a high fee. If you want it, you don't care, you offer a low fee. And that's part of the problem that Ethereum had. Its own success kind of killed it because of the high gas fees. But I think the other ecosystems are charging a flat fee to mint an NFT, which is kind of regressive because the more the coin is in US dollars, the more it is in the more it costs to create an NFT, as opposed to making it be transaction based. So I think that we will be very competitive and probably much less expensive than other platforms in terms of minting NFTs.
And I think, sorry, Joe, but just to jump in, I think like the focus on the NFT is brilliant and a big differentiator for Dynamocoin. But it's sort of half the story because it's what, Sean had developed with the pairing of the smart contract functionality, on Dynamocoin with the NFTs so that, transactions can be conducted swiftly, trustlessly, automatically, with, absolute verification. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle, almost actually maybe even more important than the NFT itself, because that is the gateway to a lot of commercial applications, right? I mean, we're talking, endlessly about, use cases, various industries, and the coupling of the smart contracts, as the delivery and execution mechanism for the NFT, that's going to unlock a lot of value, not only for the projects and the use cases that we're looking at, directly, but also hopefully use cases that, the development community, brings to Dynamocoin and builds out, use cases that we hadn't even thought of or envisioned. It goes well beyond, our group to a much broader community. And I think that's an equivalently important piece of the conversation.
I guess that's something to go into the other use cases, because the general public just see NFTs, they hear about artwork and things like that. Talk about some of the other things NFTs are going to be very useful for, like Super Bowl tickets, in the next, 5 years, and your Super Bowl ticket's going to be an NFT.
Yeah, I think it's right now what makes headlines, right? Sean said it, the people, digital art for $69 million, but really like NFT really just means, non-fungible token. And sure, it's fun and interesting to think about multi-million-dollar artwork. But there's also audio masters for music. There's, video clips of iconic moments in sport or film, and then there's the more mundane, right? As you say, there's tickets, there's couponing, perhaps purchase orders, things that are unique and one of a kind, but not everything needs to be on the level of, multi-million-dollar artwork. And I think, to be very honest, I think those real world use cases those things that are going to impact day-to-day business, that's going to be in that non-multi-million-dollar art world. You know, it's going to be things that help streamline operation. You know, there's, off the top of the bat, we were talking about fraud prevention. There's a lot of fraud that goes on in the retail world, both organized and other, with loyalty and rewards programs are often counterfeited and faked. You know, there's couponing, counterfeiting and fake, receipt fraud. I mean, there's a whole universe of opportunity, you know, to leverage NFT because, again, when you think about it, very mundane and boring, but a receipt could be an NFT, right? It doesn't have to be $1 million artwork, but it is unique, right? Everyone is unique and different. And to secure that using Dynamo will be really, really interesting. And I can't wait to see what the team comes up with.
We are starting to get some questions in from the community. I don't know how, let's see how this works in this situation. The first one is from Dr. X. What about retirement funds? I think that's more like what Aave and not Aave, but I Trust Capital and things like that. That's a little different because that's more of a retirement fund. This is more of a not similar.
Anything that's going to be government regulated, you know, a 401k that's got a, you know, that touches the IRS is going to be super hard to integrate, right? Unless you get the IRS to agree. You know? So yeah, things like that are probably not candidates for integration into blockchain. I think, you know, blockchain is peer-to-peer, right? So things where, you know, I consume a service from another person and there's an intermediary, you know, blockchain has the huge potential to disrupt that intermediary, cut out all the overhead and waste and frankly profits, you know, of that intermediary. So yeah, I don't think anything with a centralized tax-oriented scheme is going to be applicable.
Okay, let's go over some of the questions other people have. One is, you know, there's many use cases for cryptocurrency. What is one of the use cases that Dynamocoin is going to be targeting first?
Number one is the NFT marketplace, right? That's a super easy, low bar, you know, easy to enter, applicable, and frankly, you know, getting a lot of attention, right? So for us to be able to get some headlines, we're gonna, you know, do the thing that other people are doing, which is getting headlines. So NFT marketplace, super simple to implement. We've already got a couple prototypes going. They're based on, you know, very easy to use WordPress plugins, so other people will be able to take this technology and build their own marketplaces. So yeah, that's number one on our list. Super easy to do. Number two on my list is to develop virtual worlds, 3D worlds with in-game currency. It's a personal passion of mine, and I love gaming. I love writing games. Unreal Engine is an awesome platform, and I'd love to maybe do some kind of partnership with Epic where we could get a plugin that they could have with Unreal Engine to enable microtransactions, or I can just maybe put that on the marketplace. You know, those are kind of things we're brainstorming there. But you know, gaming again is also very simple because there's no regulation around it. There's no compliance. No, you know, again, the entry level very low, very easy to do. And then we've got a whole bunch of things in the pipe that, you know, we're all brainstorming as far as, again, the peer-to-peer marketplaces and how to disrupt some of those centralized players that you know, are making the gig economy maybe not so great for some of the people who are engaged in it.
And I'll jump on that, Sean. You know, Joe, the reality is, you know, you have huge players like the NFL, right? The NFL itself is jumping into the NFT space, and they're going to monetize, you know, their own proprietary content. And that's great. Good. Encourage that, support that. Would love to see more of that. But what about the little guy? What about the average guy? What about the guy who's got, you know, some award-winning artwork or photography or music? but doesn't necessarily have the technical skills or the knowledge or the comfort level. They've heard about NFTs, but they don't really know how to take advantage of it or what they could do with it, or frankly, what it could mean for them or how it could protect their art. I think that's who we're talking to. That's who we want to create this marketplace for. Again, a lot of the ethos of Dynamocoin is crypto for people. And that's going to be a big focus of the marketplace. It's not crypto for big business. It's crypto for people. It's peer-to-peer, people-to-people. And I think the marketplace, which I know a lot of the development is heavily underway, is going to look good. It's going to function great. I know we have some artists already lined up to participate in it. So I would say within the next couple of weeks, look for a really big announcement on that.
How can, I guess, the NFTs help artists like that, like musicians or photographers? Exactly.
Well, again, taking out the middleman, right? So if you look at the process that the people was sold, there was so many centralized middlemen in that process, right? So, not saying that our marketplace is going to generate a $69 million sale necessarily, because we don't have the cachet and the reach, but that's the idea, right? That you can create these small community marketplaces where indie rock bands can post their music and other people can pay a few pennies to listen to it. It's disintermediating all of those big guys, the music publishers who despise all the artists except the very top few, right? Like we're gonna take all those people and say, come on over here, and we're gonna connect you with consumers.
We got another question that just came in. What is the Dynamo's relationship or position against other cryptocurrencies, and maybe name a few to compare? That's kind of a question somebody's asking.
We're very similar to any NFT based chain. So things like Raven, and Raven was sort of the first one to adopt NFTs on chain. So any chain that has NFTs on chain is going to be similar to what we're doing. But because we have a virtual machine, we're also more like Ethereum or Cardano or one of those that actually have smart contracts. So it's kind of like the marrying of those two things. However, the governance is like neither of those. It's more like Decred or Conflux, which has a more decentralized governance with on-chain voting. So I would say like those, a marriage of those four is similar to what we're going for.
All right, next question up. Is future regulation a concern? Binance just got heavily regulated in the UK, and the US has many restrictions on exchanges for various states. I know we saw that tweet earlier today, which I guess we could debate the accuracy of it.
Yeah, that was another media. Binance banned in the UK, and it's just a face palm. Why? It's so irresponsible to say something like that. Yeah, Binance is heavily regulated in the UK. It always was. The fact is that they made a pronouncement that said, hey, if you continue to offer illegal futures and swaps, we're going to come after you. Okay, well, then they're probably going to go and comply with whatever regulations there are. I mean, there's nothing really astounding about that, right? If somebody's walking into Walgreens and ripping off handbags and selling them on the street, and then the police come over and say, hey, stop selling handbags, they're illegal, like, are you surprised? Like, this is not like something that's, to me, very earth-shattering. So no, Binance was not shut down in the UK. That's a complete false headline. It's just clickbait. And yeah, we need regulation. There's no question about it. There's lots of bad actors out there, and regulation, as appropriate for these kind of financial instruments, is only going to make crypto better by far. There's no question about it.
And zooming out on that, Joe, I think I think the core of the question is, yes, we are aware of the regulatory landscape. We are aware that the regulators are figuring this out on the fly like everybody else. We are aware that it's constantly changing. And we do have, legal resources in the camp to help guide the foundation, to, adjust to changes in the regulatory environment as they occur. So yes, it's definitely on our radar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say though, it's not something that keeps us up at night necessarily. Like, we're not thinking, is the existence of Dynamo in jeopardy because of some sort of legal regulation? I mean, first of all, we are employing some competent legal counsel. That's definitely part of what we're doing to make sure that whatever we say and whatever we propose it is not illegal. But yeah, I don't think there's any existential threat to crypto in general, right? Like, this is only going to get bigger. People are going to invest more and more, and then as uninformed investors, start to come to the table. Do your own research doesn't work. It doesn't even work now, frankly, because most people are just buying a crypto moonshot and hoping it 100x's. But yeah, I think this is a good thing. There's nothing to be afraid of.
All right, next question up from looks like the YouTube community. I'm planning to invest, but upon reviewing the chart and price action, it seems that the price was manipulated by an individual in that group simply because of the supply. How do we deal with this?
Increase the supply, which we have. So as we said at the top of the show, we are now on a legitimate exchange, or not, I should say BEP20 is not illegitimate, but we are on an open exchange. Accessible exchange. We have a Bitcoin Dynamo pair, so anybody with Bitcoin can buy it, and you can easily swap on this exchange from other major currencies like Ethereum and Doge and whatever. So yeah, we are going to absolutely increase the supply. There was look. The BEP20 token was an experiment. We wanted to do something to find price discovery. We wanted to see where we should open the real exchange at. I did not anticipate that there would be so much interest in it, frankly. I was a little bit overwhelmed by how many people wanted to buy it. But I didn't want to create a lot of supply because that was never meant to be the end game. So all of the BEP20 tokens are going to get exchanged for mainnet tokens. We're going to have a video about how to do that. So everybody's value is going to be preserved, and you'll be able to take that to the new exchange. And there's going to be a whole lot more liquidity. There's a ton of people that are interested in buying this coin, and I think that there's going to be a huge buy side interest. So.
Okay, here comes the next question up. Looks like from the same person. If the supply will increase, what will the impact to the holders who previously bought it at the term price? How will it affect them?
If I knew that,
I'm just reading.
I'd be putting my money on the lottery numbers. Again, this is not investment advice, right? None of this is. I have had a lot of private interest in buying the coin. People sending me direct messages on Discord that they want to invest US dollar 5 figures into this. And I said no. I said I don't know that I can do that legally. We needed to get an attorney, which we've had a little bit of trouble doing. And then, frankly, I wasn't comfortable doing an OTC deal without the transparency of a market, and so I've kind of ignored those things. But we've got a lot of investor interest, so I do not think that this is going to be a huge dump personally. And honestly, there's only a few people that own the coins, right? It's only the people who have been mining, plus the 7,000 or 8,000 tokens that are in the BEP20 pool, which are going to get converted over. So yeah, look, if everybody all of a sudden dumps all the coins, it's going to go back to 10 cents.
But it's also a different situation. There's not 10 trillion tokens, and this isn't a meme coin, right?
There's 150 something or 160,000 tokens total in circulation. The foundation owns, I don't know, 47,000 of them or something like that. So you got about 100,000 tokens that are owned, looks like maybe by about 30 some odd holders. I don't know what the wallet distribution is, but they're all people who have been mining for the last however many weeks. And frankly, they've been mining knowing that there's no offering. And, yeah, we've been talking about an exchange, but there was no promise of anything. We never said we're gonna have it by this date. We're just gonna say we're actively applying, and through luck and hard work and whatever else, this deal just happened to come together in the last few days. It's super awesome, but nobody who's been applying their computing power and using their GPUs and all that other stuff knew that this was going to happen, and certainly I didn't. So I don't think those people are going to just say, oh, I'm going to go sell all my 100,000 coins. I mean, first of all, they're going to destroy their own value, so why would they? But yeah, I don't think that this thing is going to tank.
Sean, why don't we take that answer and move it off in a little different direction, as opposed to just addressing potential price action of Dynamocoin. Why don't we talk a little bit about the inflationary aspect of Dynamo versus other well-known coins out there? And when we talk about increasing supply, I think it would be really good information for the Dynamo community to know what that, cost or the coin supply increase rate is. And again, just for an example, let's pick another coin and just give a little side by side.
Mm-hmm. So we mine 4 coins a minute on average, right? We have a block emission time of 15 seconds, and the block reward is 1 Dynamo per block. So it's, do the math, it's about 5,700 coins a day. When you compare that to some of the other mainnet coins, which are inflationary, that's very, very small. Ethereum is a 13-second block time, and the block reward is 2.2, 2.3 Ethereum pre-EIP 1559. It'll be 2 Ethereum after that. So they are more than double what the inflation is of our scheme. Dogecoin is, I think it's 5,000 coins per block on a 1-minute block time. So they're just printing money like crazy. So it kind of depends. For the inflationary coins, we are way at the low end, and more supply is going to be good, right? The more coins that you can get into people's hands, it's going to be good. So for a while, I feel that we should let this be inflationary until we get to 1 or 2 million coins, and then we can talk about modifying the finances of it. And again, by that time, the community voting will be available. And so if somebody comes up with a proposal that says, every transaction will burn 2% of the coins to create some deflation, we'll all vote on it. If people like it, it'll pass and we'll implement it. It's already baked into the chain. We can already do that today. But we won't do it until the community agrees. So we're not going to change the tokenomics for many months, at least until proof of stake and the proof of storage is in place. And then if we do, we'll vote on it. So we have the controls in place. If we think there's too many coins, if we think, but again, I don't think that there's a huge demand to invest in this project right now. So,
and I think the last couple of questions kind of push into this. With your background, you're not only in coding but in Wall Street. Kind of talk about that a little bit. You're not the typical blockchain creator. You are used to regulation. You're used to understanding, how not to screw people over. You're from a regulated background.
So the last 3 positions that I've had was, the most senior technology person, and again, most recently, chief technology officer of a credit card company. The amount of regulation there, is just incredible. You have so many people every week, an auditor's coming in asking you about something from PCI to AML to FinCEN, all kinds of stuff, credit, fair credit, you name it. So yeah, I'm very sensitive to doing the right thing, and not just because I come from a regulated background, but because I've seen the harm that a lot of these other crap coins have done. That these people are just stealing money, and that gives crypto a bad name for sure. So we're not here to steal anybody's money, but yeah, I'm just super sensitive to any of that kind of regulatory issues. Yeah.
What type of regulations do you think would be important to implement into crypto, if any?
Well, KYC AML, right? That's the most, right? You don't want to have people using crypto to be, to enable child trafficking or arms trafficking or funding terrorists in any way, that kind of stuff, right? KYC AML is I think, the most important thing, making sure that money's not being used for a bad purpose.
Keith looked like you were about to jump in.
Yeah. I wanted to jump in on what Sean had said a minute ago, and you were asking, about background and, what that would mean. I think one of the important things to underline in all this is, knowing Sean's background, knowing my background, and the reality is, both of us are, entrepreneurs, both of us are value creators. And I think, at a very high level, look at the diner community as, stakeholders, shareholders, right? So at its very purest form, the goal would be to increase value for our stakeholders, which is the Dynamo community. So anything that does that, is on our radar, is on the roadmap, is a focus. So I think one thing that's often overlooked is, yes, we do look at the spot price, on a daily basis, but we're not in it for the day trade. This is not about the quick buck. This is about developing something great, something disruptive, something meaningful, something that's going to impact a lot of people. And it's a long-term thing. So if anybody thinks that, we're around for an ICO and then, founders out, that is, I'll put that to rest right now. That is not the game plan at all. Like, we see a beautiful long road ahead, and can't wait to do some really exciting things.
Sean, it looked like you were about to say something there.
Just that there was no ICO, right? So
right.
Just think about that, right? Like, nobody had a single Dynamo coin in their pocket when I launched this thing, and I was spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month to put all the hardware up to make this thing work on Amazon and mine it myself for a while, and also, frankly, when people in the Discord community know, when the mining actually took off, which I was very surprised about, when the mining took off, I stopped. Right, I didn't say, I'm gonna use my competitive advantage to keep mining, and when I published the GPU miner, because the CPU miner was the only thing that was out there, I didn't use that myself before I let it out to the community. So everybody has had a fair chance to get their piece of the coin. Everybody who's been involved up till now anyway. So I think if you look at the tone and tenor of just the last 5 weeks of what's happened, I think you'll see what we're about. There's no ICO, there's nothing. It's all completely fair and transparent.
And I guess next question comes in. What is the next steps for Dynamocoin? I guess getting on exchanges, and talk about that, because that's a big part of this, is getting on the exchanges.
Getting on more exchanges. Now that we're on one exchange, one of the sort of snowballs that happens is we get to apply to CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, which is a huge opportunity for advertising and blowing your own horn about what your market cap is and what your daily volume is, and it's a lot of exposure. So a lot of these crap coins that get on to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko experience a huge bump just from trader awareness, right? So traders are looking for new listings, and then people will come and actually vet out, what is this thing about? Is there a use case? Is there, who's behind it? And I think when people who don't know us as of now come and look, and they see these videos and they see the technology, they see the GitHub, they see the white paper, they're gonna understand that this is real, that there's actually something behind this. So I think that's going to be huge. So getting on those forums, yeah, getting more exchange listings, and then frankly partnering with third-party commercial enterprises to use our token in the real world. We need to get commercial use cases so that people are trading these tokens, and the token chain is in demand.
Right. For the community out there watching, dial in, get on YouTube, and start asking us some questions. We got Sean here answering anything you want about Dynamocoin or cryptocurrency in a whole. I guess one of the other questions is how did Dynamocoin get connected directly to Pinot Power stock community?
So one of my very long-time friends who has worked for me as a developer through several different companies had a good friend. I'm not sure I want to dox anybody on this necessarily, but he's the person who runs that forum, and we talked at length about doing some kind of cross marketing and what might make sense, and I gave him a lot of the details of the project, and he really liked it. And of course, he knew my friend; they were close friends as well. And again, I've known this guy for 20 years. So I think based on that recommendation and then his review of the project, he felt very comfortable with integrating us into his community. And frankly, it's been great. We've got a lot of very good engagement from the Philippine community, and I'm very happy that we entered into that partnership.
Next question that just came in. Do you think you have a deep understanding about crypto and creating a coin, and where did your experience? He's questioning wants to know about your background and your experience in creating a coin.
Look, no, I'm not going to say that I am a crypto programmer expert, right? I've been doing it for 4 months, maybe. I do say that I am a quick learner, and I've been programming for 30 years. So, I have some confidence in my ability to develop code, but it did take me a while to understand how consensus works. All the cryptography. Elliptic key cryptography is not simple. There's a lot of calculus involved in that, which I did take that in college, and so I'm comfortable with higher math. But it was a while. But no, I'm not going to say that I'm on the same par as Vitalik or any of these guys who've been doing it for years and years, and frankly living in the trenches, right? I'm reaping the benefits of all those guys that did the tireless hours to create some of these great technologies. We're a fork of Bitcoin, and there's probably 1 million hours of people's time in that, and many of those people, I'm sure, are much smarter than I am. Look, I'm not going to say that I'm a crypto expert, but I feel very comfortable with my command of the C++ knowledge, for sure. And I think if you look at for those people who are programmers, have a look at the GitHub commits that I've done. I've probably created, 3,000 to 4,000 lines of code in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Just completed the mining pool, which was a ground up development, which seems to be operating quite well. Yeah, I feel very confident in my ability as a programmer. As a crypto programmer, I'm going to be always learning. This is a wide field. It's very technologically deep, and I think there's always something to learn here. So.
Okay, so we're about 50 minutes into this Dynamo AMA. Still asking for questions. Anybody on YouTube or Reddit? Message in, guys. Any other things you want to talk about a little bit?
I think we had some other questions that were emailed in. I think. Right?
I missed that email. Let me look up.
I'm just going to check on Discord here, see if we have anything.
Yeah, I think that's most of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's one that just came in. Plans for a mobile wallet. What are
That's
our
a very
plans
good
for a
question.
mobile wallet?
Absolutely. So, so I am actively working on a Chrome plugin wallet, which is similar to MetaMask or Trust Wallet. Connecting to Chrome plugin is super important because it's ease of use of managing your wallet. So, so that is absolutely something that's actively being developed. Mobile wallet's a little harder because you have to get it accepted by the store, and most most people who are in the Apple Store with a mobile wallet are exchanges, which are already regulated. So having your own coins wallet, that's only the wallet, is kind of hard on Apple. On Android, it's pretty simple. And so what you'll end up seeing is a lot of these altcoins only have Android apps. We can definitely do that. There's lots of apps that we could fork, and you know, lots of Bitcoin wallets that we could fork and make it compatible with us with relative ease. But yeah, the Apple Store is really hard because they're heavy duty gatekeepers, and they view crypto in a dim light so far. So yeah, but definitely definitely mobile wallet, and definitely Chrome plugin, at least for Android.
Okay. Next question up is: are you planning to change the ticker?
I'm curious where this one's coming from.
Yeah. So we so Dynamic is the dead company that was going to put healthcare records on blockchain, which I think is an utterly horrible idea, personally. The company's out of business. The token still trades for some reason. I'm not sure if it's a mineable token or whatever it is, but or if it's an ERC20. But yeah, I don't know. I almost want to like petition them to take it off, but unfortunately there is some volume on some obscure exchanges. So we may just have to go with the full name. Part of this is like, it's like the .com gold rush, right? Everybody's trying to get the tickers. So yeah, so DYN is not going to work. With the current exchange, we had to go with the full name, particularly exactly why you said, because CoinGecko, they have DYN already. So we probably will have to use the full name as our ticker, which is a little unfortunate. But
how does that work in the world of cryptocurrency? Because if you're on like stock exchanges, of course, that's a different situation. They kind of pick who. This is a different world. How does somebody get the rights of one compared to the other?
Nothing. You can't. There's no rights to anything. So it's
First come, first serve.
Yep. First come, first serve. So if you make up safe Doge Mom and you get it first, then you're safe Doge Mom. That's yours. So yeah, it's really just by recognition. So that's why I was thinking maybe we could petition CoinGecko to take it down, but they do that. This other Dyn does have a little bit of activity on it, unfortunately. So yeah, despite the company that started it's completely out of business. So, yeah.
I'm looking for some other questions out there. I'm looking for the email. Sorry, we have so many emails back and forth.
Yeah.
Looking for.
We talked a little bit about use cases, and I know we talked a little bit in the chat about that as well. On the peer-to-peer disruption, one of the things we're considering is this Uber, Lyft disintermediation, right? So ride hailing, peer-to-peer ride hailing, which I think is a great use case for blockchain if you can work out the ID piece. And I know a lot of blockchains are actually working on centralized ID, but of course you want to know, if I'm going to go take a ride with somebody, I want to make sure that driver is not a serial killer, that he has a valid license, and that he has insurance, and that he doesn't have 30 speeding tickets and whatever else, right? So we have to work through some of those things about the assurance piece without being centralized. And I did find a company that's doing peer-to-peer ride hailing on a limited basis, but I think it's centralized. They have a closed source right now. So I was thinking of reaching out to them, seeing if they want to maybe do a partnership.
How's that different than kind of what's going on now with Uber and Lyft? I think they do background checks, but it's not at the same level.
Yeah, it's so we actually we have some pretty deep experience in the transportation industry. I had done a couple of partnership deals with another one of the steering committee members who was very high up in the black car service, New York City black car service industry. And we started to work on a project to do just that, to vet drivers, to make sure that they had valid insurance, to make sure they had valid license, that they didn't have tickets or DUIs or whatever else. And we found it's actually extremely hard. So despite whatever Uber and Lyft may be saying about this trust assurance and all these kind of things, the reality is validating that someone has valid insurance is really, really hard. It's incredibly manual, decentralized. If you have State Farm and I show you my insurance card, you have to literally call the State Farm agent. It's not even, there's no central database that's available to consumers or companies to validate insurance. It's only in law enforcement. So the cops can look it up all day long because they have a centralized database. But as a commercial enterprise trying to say that I will make sure that that this driver has insurance, doesn't exist. It's really fascinating. So yeah, so those kinds of things, I would imagine that a peer-to-peer system is just going to be no worse than whatever Uber and Lyft are doing in terms of the security levels, right? So you can run background checks, you can check your license or check your points once every so often. It's extremely expensive too. Pulling a driver abstract is something like $50 in the state of Connecticut. So they're not doing it once a month, I guarantee you that. It'd be way too expensive. So I think looking at some of those things and saying, look, we just won't be any worse than whatever they're doing, and maybe we can be a little better by disintermediating them. Yeah.
And Keith, you being the co-creator of Dynamocoin and your main business, QBuster Technologies, being in the retail world, what are some ways you're going to try to implement that into retail, the blockchain, technology?
Yeah, Joe, we were looking at, we currently are looking at, how can we use blockchain to minimize fraud? Fraud is, an enormous multi-billion-dollar problem in the retail world, and what can we do to minimize the impact of that? And, as we had mentioned before, receipt fraud is really big. Rewards and loyalty fraud is a huge problem. Ticketing, within the retail universe is also growing in popularity, but there's a huge fraud component to that. So we're looking at those three areas where we could leverage, the smart contract technology of Dynamocoin, along with the NFT component, and seeing what we can do in the retail world there. Still very early innings, but yeah, we're focused on it.
Okay. All right. We're about an hour into this AMA. I don't know how much longer we want to go. We go as long as you guys want. I think some of the questions have slowed down. I think we've kind of answered everything we've emailed in earlier, unless I've missed anything.
Yep. And we're gonna do this on a regular cadence, right, Joe? We'll get one of these, one a month, or we'll get them on a.
We'll be on every Friday,
schedule.
Hopefully. At least we'll be on weekly.
That's right. Wine and dine. Yeah. Wine and dine.
Talking just crypto in general, but also Dynamocoin. But at the same time, and you're going to, Sean, talk about that. You're a lot more accessible than like a Vitalik or, some of the bigger ones. So people can actually contact you directly.
I chat with people in the forums all day. Yep. I think Ann had one more question here.
Oh, did I miss it? I'm sorry.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Here we go. Then here we go. How is DYN unique among other coins, and why people might get interested?
So I think we have two-pronged value proposition. One is that we have some really interesting technology where we, particularly around combining NFTs and smart contracts, which opens up possibilities for all kinds of commercial applications, like we've talked about, creating ERP connectors to like just even say QuickBooks, where we might be able to say, if you send a purchase order NFT to this address, that will automatically get loaded into your QuickBooks, and we can create a decentralized accounts payable, accounts receivable system, something like that. I don't know exactly all the details of that, but the ability for us to bridge NFTs and ERP systems with smart contracts, I think, is super powerful. The second prong of our value proposition is the people behind it, right? Again, that this is not our first rodeo. Right? We've all been involved in our own businesses. We've managed dozens or hundreds of people. We've done technology for a long time. We've got a very strong network that we can pull on to create commercial value outside of the ecosystem. So really, why is it different? Because one, we've got a lot of cool technology that we're building. Two, we've got some very dedicated, professional, engaged people. So I think that's really the two-pronged value proposition that this project has.
I'm just trying to jump over and get some other questions over here. Guys, continue. If somebody wanted tomorrow to start mining Dynamo, on the website right now, it just says to email you guys. What's kind of give somebody an overview of how they can start mining it tomorrow if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. So actually, there's an explainer video. It's a little bit dated. We did update the miner to accommodate the pools, and I will be posting an explainer video about how to mine against the pool shortly. But really, all you need to do is download the mining software. If you want to mine against the pool, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. If you want to mine solo, then you have to download one of our full nodes, either the QuickTime wallet or the full node software, and you can point your miner to your own full node and then just compete directly on the chain. So it's really just downloading a couple pieces of software and doing a configuration. But we'll put a detailed explainer video about updated with the new mining software shortly.
Okay. And Sean, why don't you give a quick rundown on, I think one of the big differentiators and something kind of noteworthy is also the power consumption angle of Dynamo. I know it's been in the news very recently with Elon Musk calling out, the energy requirement to mine Bitcoin. It's quite the resource hog. But you sort of took that into consideration, when developing Dynamo. And I think it's kind of noteworthy for those that are on the live stream now to just get a little more of an insight into that.
Yeah, so what we observed is that the power consumption, and my only comparison was between Ethereum and Dynamo, that my power consumption was substantially less than mining Ethereum, and that my cards didn't run as hot. So it was definitely much better. Now I do want to caveat that by saying that I'm only running AMD cards, and I only ran two different kinds of cards. One's an RX 580, the other's a 5500 XT. Both of those had much lower power consumption from Dynamo than Ethereum. Others have reported to me that NVIDIA cards actually run more power. So that didn't quite work out the way I thought. I have not tested any NVIDIA cards, so I can't independently verify it. And I think what we should do is publish some statistics about hash rate and power consumption. Once we have a few more people mining, I'd like to gather up and we can publish out some tables about what the most efficient cards are. Because sometimes it's cheaper to mine with lower power consuming cards, even though the hash rate may be higher, because your power cost would be lower. So it kind of depends. But we can definitely encourage people, obviously, to use lower power consuming cards, which mine happen to be.
Yeah. I'm looking in here right now on the Discord, which is in the corner. Somebody's asking, it has to be on Windows and not on Mac.
We have not built any Mac targets at all. Yeah, the only targets we built are Windows and Ubuntu.
Okay.
I will take a look at, let me add that to my calendar. I will take a look at creating that.
That's good work. About going hard explanation. I'm just sitting here reading through.
It is definitely possible to build the binaries on Mac. I'm gonna need to set up. I do have some Macs here too, so we can do it. But I will take a look at that.
Okay. Machine going on. Yeah, I think we've answered everything.
Yeah.
Job, guys. Wasn't
Not
too bad.
Right?
Yeah.
No, not at all for the first outing.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of ground to cover.
Any more hard questions?
Yeah, I'm kind of going through the Discord as we have on the screen right now. I'm in the general section. I guess the questions would pop up in the general section, right, Sean?
Probably, yeah. I mean, related to the live stream, because that's where the link was, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's look over here at the as we close out. I mean, we're at an hour in. Do you guys want to keep going? Got anything else you want to talk about? Crypto in general? What's going on in the world right now?
Yeah, I think this was really good, Joe. And I think, I think we'll have the advisory meeting post will be tomorrow and then Friday again. I think there's just look for a lot more coming from the Dynamo team.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. Whoever joined us on this Dynamo AMA, we're going to try to do this as much as we can. At the bottom of the screen, you can see, you can hit us up on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, the Discord, which I guess I should have put that on the screen, or even Dynamo's website. You can even find Sean himself or find Keith right there. Last words, guys, before we shut this down.
Congratulations on a great first day. Go Dynamocoin. Fantastic, Sean. Really, really great. High five, victory lap.
Yeah,
well earned, well deserved. I think it's going to be huge for the community. And look, like I said, look for great things.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say just, again, how humbled I am and how thankful I am that there are so many people who are, personally invested in this, that have given us their money on the BEF20 and who have given us their time in programming and just engaging on the Discord and helping us to get where we are just after 5 short weeks. Thanks to everyone for being a part of this. We're going to have a great ride.
It's just beginning.
Right. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Like, comment, share,
Thanks,
do the whole
everybody.
thing. All right. Bye.
Bye.